Now the chic and stylish shape of the Peugeot 208 is one that we've become used to. It's been out on the roads for a number of years now. But with Peugeot's competition getting fiercer than ever, Peugeot have decided to step it up a gear, bring out a facelifted model of the 208 just to bring the fight back to its competition. So this is the 2015 Peugeot 208 facelift, and bringing with it comes a new wider front grille, LED headlights, new signature pattern at the rear, and various new options to the car, and I will come on to that. Now this is an Allure trim model. It's a very high specification car. So we've got this glass panoramic roof above us, trimmed with LED lighting, leather seats, and various other options that I'll come on to in a moment. But powering this car is an 82 brake horsepower, 1.2 litre engine, capable of over 60 mpg. Now, whilst it sounds a little bit gruff at low revs like this three-cylinder unit is actually very, very smooth. There's hardly any vibration coming back in through the cabin, which is unusual for a three-cylinder because of its odd number, and it tends to set a little bit of undulation through the cabin. But this engine, if you put your foot down, actually sounds all right. So we're about 3,000 RPM now. Put your foot down, and it has quite a pleasant thrum to it. Now, obviously, it is not the world's fastest car. It's a 1.2 litre, obviously, with 82 horsepower, but it is suitable for this little car. It's a small little hatchback. It's a 3-door model. Looks fantastic, I have to say. Speaking of looks, one of those new options is textured paint. Now, it's over £600, but what it does, it adds sort of a grainy texture to the paint and gives like a matte finish. Upsides of this is that you can have matte paintwork, which is usually very high maintenance. You have to keep it clean or else it stains. It gives it a more durable finish. You don't have to desperately run out and clear bird muck off of it before it decides to eat into the paint. And if you like matte paintwork, then it may be something to go for. It just adds to the customization options of this car. Now, inside on this Allure trim model, there is a higher specification than this, GT line. We have driven the GT line Peugeot 308, so don't forget to check out that review. And the GT line model basically adds some red stitching and various other toys. But this is, like I say, this is a very highly specified car. In fact, this specific test car is almost 15 grand with all its toys. Now don't worry, not very many people will spend that level of money on a Peugeot 208. The car can be had for much, much less. But this has everything. I mean, we've got cruise control, automatic lights, automatic wipers, reversing camera. We've got these really nice supportive leather seats. They're heated as well. The glass roof I've mentioned, the chrome trim on the mirrors there. All of this comes together to make a car that looks fantastic and absolutely bang up to date. Combined with the features outside, it looks like it's just rolled straight off of a show stand and onto the road, despite being a couple of years old. Peugeot have done a very good job aesthetically with these updates. Inside, dual zone climate control, I forgot to mention. That's really good on these hot days, and also you definitely, with this glass panoramic roof, want to make use of the sun blind. Hot days, unlike today, it's tipping it down with rain. On a hot day, you can close the blind and it keeps things nice and cool in here. But that glass roof does let a hell of a lot of natural light into the cabin, and it makes it feel much bigger than it actually is. There's a reasonable amount of space at the back. I mean, it's about par for the course for a 3-door hatchback, but it doesn't feel claustrophobic in here at all. It's very stylish with a sculpted dashboard. These soft touch textured finishes that have been added to the car this year are great. It feels expensive. It feels like an expensive little car. It feels very, very premium. Around town, you'll also notice that visibility is very good in this Peugeot 208, with a nice big rear windscreen, large door mirrors, and plenty of glass around you to look out of. This car is optioned with a reversing camera, which again makes things even easier when it comes to parking. What's it like to drive? Well, obviously this 3-cylinder lower powered car, you've got to work this 5-speed gearbox a bit to make swift progress. There is a higher performing turbocharged 3-cylinder available this year, as well as the new Peugeot 208 GTI, which is the responsibility of Peugeot Sport now. We have that coming in a couple of weeks, so look out for that. It's a nice little car to drive. It's not too noisy in here. I'm very comfortable. It rides fantastically. I mean, it soaks up the, in Great Britain we're famed for having some rather ratty roads, and it just soaks up the road imperfections really, really well, which is perfect for whenever you're just buzzing about town, and you don't want to be disrupted by speed bumps and potholes and the like. Steering, it's quite light. Obviously around town that's what you want. It makes it very, very easy to drive. But on more twisting country roads, it sort of lacks a bit of feel. It's very precise, but it lacks feel. Something I do like very much about this 208 is the fact that the wheel is so diddly. It's a tiny little steering wheel. It makes the car feel very nimble, and it sort of sits just below the speedo and tachometer here, which is very unorthodox in comparison to most cars. So as well as a feeling of agility, it gives you a clear view of the dials above. Some people say that adjusting the wheel to their height, the steering wheel gets in the way of the dials, it obscures it a bit. Personally, I haven't found that. I might just be the right size for this car, but it's something to think about if you are looking at the 208. Obviously, it's not the most engaging machine to drive. It's really designed for city use and things. It will do the motorway, this 82 brake horsepower engine. You put it in 5th gear, set the cruise control, maintain 70. It'll get you to where you need to go. Obviously, more consistent motorway journeys, there is a very good and very efficient new diesel engine available, which is probably worth looking at if you're going to spend a lot of time on the M27, for example. Overall, the revisions to the 2015 Peugeot 208 keep it bang up to date with its rivals. Whilst not being the most engaging car to drive, for that you have to look at the Ford Fiesta. It really does tick a lot of boxes for a chic little town runabout, particularly in this guise with this engine. It could be the car you're looking for, especially if you're a bit fashion conscious.